Okay, we've got our plants.
We're back for part 2.
Yep. So first thing I'm going to add are these guys. Probably just to get them out of the way. I might end up taking them off. We'll see. So these are going to be 2 Japanese peace lily babies I got from work. They just little cuttings. I bought some stainless steel wire, just pure stainless steel, and made little clips for them. One I did better job on than the other, but they both work. I'm gonna put these guys over.
Practice makes perfect,
Yep.
Michelle.
I'm gonna put these guys over here, just right next to each other. I'm buying another Japanese peace lily. It's gonna be a big one. It's probably gonna go like right here.
I thought that's where you put in that.
That one might go here. We'll see.
Okay.
I might rearrange it because it's gonna be easy to rearrange these guys.
Yeah.
In this container is where I put all the plants I took from Mom's tank, and then a couple more. It's mostly the cryptocorynes, but I did buy these guys, which are going to be pygmy chain swords. Bought 3 of them.
You also have stuff in this jar too.
Yeah, I know. Those are different. 3 of them. And these guys, since they're going to be, for now at least, the tallest plants. Eventually these crypts are probably also going to get too big, and I'm going to have to take them out of this tank too. But that's life. So I'm sticking this guy, you might not be able to see, I don't know, in this little corner.
No, and I can't come over there because my camera's plugged in.
But I'm planting them kind of just in the back, of course, because they're going to be the tallest plants for now. Besides the ones that are coming out the back, but those guys don't count. Taking off any snapped leaves. Let's see. And these crypts are starting to melt a little bit, which is what I expected. But I'm just taking off the melted leaves for now. They're gonna just all fall off anyways. And what might happen, I think I mentioned it when we originally set up the tank, but it never did happen. These leaves might all just melt off.
Did that come out of my tank?
Yeah. The roots are a little bit of a pain. I might.
Can you snip them?
Yeah.
All the plants in my tank like flourished.
Yep.
They all rooted really well, so they all have really long roots on them.
Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of a dirty tank.
Yeah.
I have a pretty unhappy looking tiger lotus. This guy didn't get any light. Like I didn't have any lights on its bucket, but it still grew. Its leaves are completely green. What'll happen is as it gets, since it's going to be getting more light, it should start growing again and turn into a nice big red plant, just like the one in Mom's tank. And I just wrapped that guy's roots up before I planted them instead of cutting them, because I want that guy to make it for sure. I might do that for all of these. Another crypt. These are mostly going to be crypts, because that's what I have the most of.
Definitely was easier to plant them in my tank, huh? Was it because they don't have any roots?
It's because of the sand, the type of sand.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's wet.
What?
And it's wet.
Yep, it's wet. This type of it's not easy to plant in. Also because it's wet, it doesn't naturally cave in on the plants. It might actually be better. See how frustrated I get? I might actually just fill up the tank a little bit, not all the way, because then it would make it just more difficult. But if you fill it up a little bit, I really went, where are my fancy aquascaping tweezers? And now I'm just gonna use my hands for everything.
Did I hit record?
I really hope so.
Okay. Well, it's time's going up, so it must have.
Yes, you did. This is a big one. They've all kind of curved because they were in this container for a few days. But
She probably should have waited a little bit to take them out of my tank.
I was excited. And it didn't occur to me at the time that I would have to wait because I wouldn't know where the rocks would go.
Live and learn, my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'm just sitting down here, so
Mom's just commentary.
yeah, I'm just commentary, making sure the video doesn't stop and all that kind of stuff, and that she's in frame. But I can't stand that long, so I'm just sitting here.
Mm-hmm. Judging my work.
Yeah, thinking I'm hungry. What time is it? 6:30?
I don't know.
Is that clock?
No, that clock's on 6:30. It's 5:46.
Daylight savings is coming soon.
I wish I could order food, but I am out of money.
We got plenty of food around here.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking tuna casserole or scrambled eggs.
Tuna casserole, I'll eat tuna casserole.
You don't like it?
I said no, I said tuna casserole I'll eat tuna casserole. Like, yes, tuna casserole sounds good. I might make some.
You want me to boil some water and stuff while
Sure.
you're doing that?
Yeah. By the way, for all the plant nerds, I mean, I don't know if we attracted any in the last series, but if we attract some here, this is Crypt Tropica that I'm planting. I bought a tissue culture pot from a Boost plant, and each one survived with no melt and turned into a plant, a proper big plant, which is way more than is needed for a 15-gallon tank. So they are here.
Do you hear that whistling? It's just a
Kettle.
kettle
I don't know
boiling
why
water.
it's whistling. It doesn't normally do that. Take the lid off and put it back on.
How do you do that?
Press the button on the handle. See if that helps. It's never made that sound before.
Oh, Jasper.
Leave.
Oh.
We thought.
I don't have my glasses on. They're on my head, not on my eyes.
I think maybe you should just use the pot, because that's an annoying sound. I've never heard that kettle make that sound before.
Well, it's almost boiling already anyway.
So, you guys have any fish tanks?
Well, yes, we do.
You say like you don't ask them every time. Ask them how their day is going.
That wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm just grabbing plants and I'm keeping them away from the center for a reason you'll see in a little bit, but I am putting them around.
Why did the burner go off? Or does it just...
It does that.
Oh.
It turns on for a little bit and then turns back off. Especially because you don't have it on high, so it's not like max temp. See, it's back on. Hearing Mom back there cooking. My ankles are not very happy with me. You see her back there? I can't tell because I can't see the camera, but I assume you can.
I'm sure they see me at least walk back here. Do we have pee? Yes, we do. I'm making a lot of it, so there's leftovers.
I mean, you eat a whole box, so a lot of it is just you and me.
I wish all cans came with a pull tab. I never cook, guys, so this is the first time I've made this in a very long time.
You can see on here, I mean, I put them in there, but that's some Malaysian trumpet snail. Can you see?
Yeah, a little lower. There you go.
So they're little cone-shaped snails. They don't hurt plants. They do breed like crazy. So.
I thought you said they don't.
They do. They definitely do. Inventory's right. They're one of those ones.
I said, is it going to overtake your tank? And you said no.
No, I didn't understand what you meant. And I may need to replant some of these plants. We'll see. Just because of the way the sand is. It's going to settle a lot once I add the water.
I need to pour tuna water down one of these sinks.
Okay.
I guess tuna's a fish, so
Yeah.
not gonna hurt nothing.
I mean, there's
On your siphon.
yeah. Just rinse it off first. I mean, before I use it again. I definitely recommend tissue culture. if you want a lot of plants. Because each of these, groups of 3 of these plants sell for like, you can buy like the cheaper versions, honestly, for $8 a piece. Like in little pots. So it ended up $10 for like 50 of them. Ended up being like a great deal.
I thought you told me they were expensive.
They are. I mean, they're expensive for the size, and they're way more expensive than buying a pot. If that makes any sense. So they charged $10 for that tiny little container that was this big. And it seems like a lot, because it is a lot for a tiny little plant. But the amount you get makes it worth it, especially if you're patient. Like you can buy a mature plant for $8, or you can buy 80 tiny ones for $10. Okay, here we go. A couple more tiny little crypts. The ones that didn't get much room to grow. Oh, I dropped it.
Did it land on the counter or your lap?
Didn't land on my lap. I don't see where it went. Not a big deal. There's one tiny little plant. There's some leaves in there, but I don't see a plant. That's like.
That's weird.
Yep.
Sorry if my head was just in the shot. I was trying to help her for her plant she dropped, but it's missing in action. Do you smell food?
Yeah, he's looking for anything he might have dropped.
Oh, he smells the tuna probably.
No, I know he's looking for if you might have dropped some tuna. He's trying to do. Yeah, so I'm gonna give these Malaysian trumpet snails a few weeks to breed, and then I'm gonna buy some assassin snails to keep the population down.
Peppers. Peppers.
Because they will eventually take over. So now, before I also got some crypt parva, which is the much smaller crypt that's going to carpet. But for the moment, I'm going to add these 2 Anubias that I took from Mom's tank. This is a cutting off of the Anubias Pinto, one of the 2 that we put in there. And then this is just a little Nana that didn't have a place anymore, like it just kind of started floating around. So the water level is going to be right here in this tank, so I want to place it probably on the wood. There we go. But I'm going to put this Pinto right by the surface. And a little lower. There we go. There we go. Yeah. I'm putting it right by the surface so that hopefully it'll grow out into the surface and we will have a immersed Anubias. Anubias are one of those plants that can be grown out of water or in water as long as it's kept wet. It doesn't care, but it is easier to put it in a place where it's going to eventually grow out of the water than to just stick it out and hope it survives. This little Nana, I'm gonna stick on the rock somewhere. Right here. And that's it. I'm gonna keep that water because it has all my snails in it. Yeah, the snails are super cheap. I paid $2 for 10 of them, 20 cents a piece.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So the feeder snails.
Can you sell all your other snails to them?
We don't really buy back there.
Not those snails, all the other snails you have.
Oh my gosh, no, we wouldn't pay for them. I could stick them in the feeder snail tank and sell them for 20 cents a piece, but... So this is Cryptoparva, mammalian shop.
Yes.
There's a tiny little cryptocorin. It grows very slowly, but when it does, but it stays very small and it doesn't need CO2 or anything special. I bought 4 pots of it. And I'm gonna put these around. And eventually, probably like in a year, when we move, they will have covered the entire bottom of the tank.
You may want to move your snails. You're fine. Just wanted you to move your snails. You don't want to pour boiling hot water on them.
They, like I said, grow very slowly. Most crypts do. It's got a face full of steam. These guys, I'm suspecting are going to be the worst floating culprits. Like they're going to float away. That is the downside to big hardscape, by the way, guys. Is you got to reach around it to plant stuff. And I do not want to take that wood out and put it back because that's going to be a nightmare. It's also going to be very difficult to ever catch any fish out of this tank, which is expected on my part. Most of my tanks, it's impossible to catch fish out of. Maxed at about 3 inches tall. They might not get that tall with good light. It's 1 to 3, but I'm okay with. I prefer 1 or 2 inches, but 3 will be acceptable. And I'm just scattering these guys around. You don't really want to plant them all in the same spot because then they'll take a lot longer to spread around. It's easier for them to fill in a bunch of tiny gaps than to fill in a massive gap. And I may buy more plants over time to fill in the space. I may buy more of these, or I may buy more big plants for the background, more things to put in the back of the tank. And depending on how the next few plants to come look, I may just drop them in. I'm just worried about that one because it's my first plant like that I've ever had, so I worry. And it did not come in great shape. It was in the mail for 5 days, to be fair, so it's not entirely its fault. And it came a couple days early. That thing wasn't supposed to come till Saturday. I was very excited when I checked yesterday and saw that it was already here in Indiana. Yeah, if you guys ever have a low light tank and you really want a grassy type carpet, there are options for other types of carpet. For grassy, this one's probably the best without CO2. It'll grow faster with CO2, but pretty much all plants do. Accidentally completely buried that guy. But yeah, so I bought a pot and broke up each pot into its individual little plantlets. If there's a tiny little plant attached to a bigger one, I left it on, just to give it more time to establish before I go traumatizing it. And I just realized that we don't have a spray bottle, but that's okay. No one's dried out yet. I may take this crypt out and stick it in it and maybe keep it wet for sure, but so far it's so good. But yeah, dragonwood. Not many people are talking about this wood online. It looks so cool. But you need to be very careful when you cure it, is what I've learned. By the way, when I say no one's talking about it online, I mean I found maybe 3 places besides websites selling it that are talking about it at all. Someone told me about the whole like the slime and the tannins issue, and I literally had to look up a German forum and translate everything from German to English to read about it.
How many more you got? This is done.
You started a little too soon.
Well, we can pause and you can eat and then we can
No,
come
I
back.
can't because the plants will dry out.
Oh.
She's about to sit there and eat in front of me, guys.
Hey, I'm hungry.
I am too.
Well, I want to eat in front of you then.
You about to say it was my fault?
Well, it is your fault. It's your tank.
Hey, you're the one who started making the food early.
At least I made something to eat for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time since you moved here I've cooked for you. Or us.
The not fun part is when it gets a little bit tedious just trying to plant so many plants. I didn't even count them. Didn't really matter how many I got. Got 4 pots and all of them had at least 10 plants in them. You can eat, I was just joking. This one's got such a weirdly long base, but I'm just gonna snip the bottom of that off.
Do you want me to pause it while you finish planting those? They've seen you plant a lot of them.
If you want, yeah. I mean, we'd cut back to me filling the tank up. Or have it being filled. Because that's...
Yeah. So we'll pause now, guys, and then as soon as she starts filling the tank, then we'll come back, okay? Alright, guys, we're back.
Yep, so it is all planted. We're going to start filling. We're going to do it very slowly because it is a dirty tank. Even slower than we do Mom's tank because it is such a fine sand. The convenient thing about this tank is it's right by the sink, so I can just run the hose from the sink in there and slowly, there we go. And literally that slow. It's just slowly dripping off the rock into the tank. It's not going to disturb anything. Fingers crossed nothing shifts. That would be a problem. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go eat because the food's ready.
And we'll be back in a little bit.
We'll be back when the tank is full. Actually, what?
Okay, we're back, guys.
Yeah, it's all filled with water. It's looking pretty good, I think. I got the light back up on here. I grabbed it from behind the tank. It fell back there when I was getting ready to record. I think it looks pretty dang good. The top definitely has a bunch of clay that was left over on the rocks. As like a film on top, but it'll eventually go away, especially with water changes, because I'm going to be doing frequent water changes on this tank while it cycles, to try and keep the slime and tannins from this wood to a minimum. Last things we need to do is, Mom, can hand me the prime? Ooh, jeez. Prime dechlorinator. I eyeball it. That was way more than was needed, but it doesn't hurt to overdose. I'm grabbing my snails from this container. Oops, sorry, dude. Hope you don't.
I know it looks dirty, guys, but that's just because of all the debris and stuff that has to be cycled out of there.
Yeah, it's common for a tank to look kind of weird and gross when you first fill it up. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, especially because I'm not even putting any fish in there. Not yet, at least. I mean,
Snails aren't considered fish.
no. I've got my 10 snails. Is it too dark for them to see? I just realized the lights switched off.
The light's on.
I mean, can they see?
Move over that way a little bit. Not you, your hand. No, they cannot.
I had it off.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. I had it off so we could look at the low light for it. It's by the same brand that made Mom's tank and light, but it's cool because it's controlled by an app. So I just dropped those guys in after I added the dechlorinator. They will also help cycle the tank because they're going to add an ammonia source. I'm probably still going to add some food in there as my own ammonia source. That's annoying. It's fine. I'm going to get down off the counter. Actually, no, I'm not. More beneficial bacteria. I've already dosed this several times, but just use more.
Not since you changed the water.
Yeah. Every time I change the water, when I'm cycling the tank, it's usually not recommended to change the water. I'm doing it to cut down on the wood. But every time I change the water on this tank, I add the bacteria and I add dechlorinator. Well, not in that order.
And she adds snails.
Mm-hmm. I am trying to think if there's any. Oh, I'm going to plug the filter in. It's going to be plugged into behind this curtain, but right now Castiel, the bird's cage, is right there, and I need to rearrange my room in order to do that. So I've just been.
There's a plug on the wall, honey.
I know, but it gets in my way. Filter's plugged in. And that's going to help. It's going to kick things around a little bit. It's going to help remove stuff from the water column, make it more clear. And it's also going to help hopefully remove this film on the surface from the rocks. Yeah. We still need to add the plants up on the top, but we can't do that right now because they're not here. and I'm waiting for that that mini monstera to adjust to being in the house before I go and traumatize it like that.
Do you want to give them a view of what you like of everything?
Yeah, it's a big wide angle. You turn off the light so they can see a little better. Yep. There you go, no glare. Got these rocks over here. All the little baby crypts. This Anubias. Another one over there. You can see the rock I stuck back there to fill in that gap. Peace lily. And I'm going to be sticking a pothos on here. And probably that guy either there or there. And then wherever I put that guy, the other peace lily is going to go there. Snails are chilling out. A little confused about what's going on, most likely. But yeah, I think that's it for now.
That water might have been a little cold for them.
It's a little colder, but they're hardy. Nothing kills them. At my work, we dropped.
I'm glad I don't have no snails in my tank. My sister had snails and it overtook her tank so much that she couldn't see through the glass. That's how bad it was. And she bleached it and did all kinds of stuff to that tank to try to get those snails gone, and nope.
But yeah, you can see how the tank looks deeper than it actually is. See it from the top. And you saw it at the beginning of the video. It's not a very deep tank. Because of that slope right there adds a whole lot of depth, especially in just like regular pictures when you're not moving around. That piece of rock I dropped in there and was like, ah, heck, I'm not going to take that out. It ended up filling in the space really nicely. But yeah.
We'll be back for part 3 when she gets the rest of her plants and her fish.
Yep. They'll probably be different. We might combine them into one part, but they're going to definitely happen at different times.
Combine them into one part, probably.
Yep. You guys have a good one.
Talk to you later. Stay out of trouble, guys.
Mm-hmm.